our mythology. And then on the other side, I've written about parallel universes and quantum physics and what should happen if we meet ourselves 20 years from today. So there are stories of all kinds. It's like, I think I'm the new princess of Arabian Nights.
Yeah, Vicky. You in your career, you have discreetly done quite a few dubbing of your actors, and
Not so discreet, if you know.
in the sense, what I mean is, it's not publicly known. I mean, it's known to a section of the audience. Like, everybody may not know who did the dubbing of Raz, and some sections of the audience would know. So what I'm appreciating that you had done the dubbing so well, and you had mastered the art. So to what extent your proficiency in dubbing helps?
See, I have had the good fortune of being an assistant director and that to the chief assistant director to three very big, very good directors. I was the chief assistant to Mukul Anand to start with, all the way to Agnipath, then with Shekhar Kapoor, then with Mahesh Bhatt. As an assistant, I have the opportunity to work with some of the greats. I have worked with, as an assistant, also directed Amitabh Bachchan and Mithun Chakrabarti and Dharmendra, and I've worked with Amir, and I've worked with a lot of actors, and I have directed a few, and I have learned from them. I have learned, I have actually stood in the corner as an assistant and seen someone like Amitabh Bachchan in Agnipath. He used to have his file open on a table. I remember there was a scene in which he was supposed to go completely crazy with Madhvi's character when his mother had insulted him. And we all broke for lunch. And there he was, just rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing. And it was a treat to watch, but also to learn. I always tell my assistants and people who work with me that this is the only place we get paid to learn. So I think first that learning has helped me a lot, and then secondly, I think I like the stories I narrate. If it is a job, then it won't happen. If it's a passion, anybody can do it.
Hi. Sir, how do you plan to monetize the stories, and do you have any plans for that?
So Sony Live is an advertising platform where a lot of advertisers put their ads on the platform, and that's our way of monetizing. So we believe that the advertising that will show around the show will pay for this.
Okay, and do you think it's a big challenge on digital to get revenue since it is new, and how do you see that?
So I think the newness allows us to do new things. The newness allows us to experiment with platforms or experiment with formats. And I think that's the way we are addressing it. We are an organization which is investing in this entire medium and the content behind it. We see this as a long-term play for us. We will be able to monetize it. We will be able to put ads around it. And therefore, over a period of time, we will recover our money. So that's our agenda. We see this as a long-term content play in the digital space. As more and more telecom companies invest in the infrastructure, we believe this ecosystem will grow.
Vikram sir, any plan, did you think of converting any of the short stories into a film? Or because they were not being able to convert it into film, that you decided to make them a short story?
Look, let's be really honest about this situation. Films are going through a really bad time in trying to make it to the screen. If you get a star and a studio to back your idea, then you'll run into some censor trouble. You'll run into, you can't say this word, you can't say that word. And if you go through censor, you might just have, upset some political group or someone else, and they will throw stones at your theater and stop it. I think it's a stranglehold on storytellers. For too long, I think films have been a whipping horse. I mean, if you want to make a statement against smoking, then you first put a disclaimer on, on a film. smoking is injurious, but you will not stop the pan shop. India is the only country where you get loose cigarettes. As a matter of fact, I remember I was smoking when I was very little, and I went abroad, and I asked the guy if he could give me 2 cigarettes, and he looked at me like I was mad, because there you can only a packet. So it's the only place in the world where you get that. You won't stop that. There'll still be horse carts on Juhu Beach and guys flagging the poor horse. But for us, even if it's computer graphics, we have to give them, okay, we did this with computer graphics. So we become a whipping horse. And in that climate, Sony Live and what we are doing comes as a breath of fresh air for anyone who wants to do something creative.
भट्ट साहब, ये नए कलाकारों के लिए कितना चांस रहेगा इसमें? आप रेपुटेड कलाकार लेंगे या नए नए लोगों को भी रखेंगे?
फिलहाल तो मैं अपने आप को चांस दे रहा हूँ. मैंने सोचा बहुत कर लिया लोगों के लिए, अब खुद ही कहानियाँ बोल के अपने आप को ही स्टार बना देता हूँ. बहुत हो गया नाच गाना.
अच्छा, Vikram, what is the logic of having English subtitles for this when you are speaking in English?
See, what happens is that it's called transcripting, and throughout the world it has been noticed that a lot of people follow things easier if you have a transcript. Another thing is that, see, the broadcast quality is something that we can only maintain to a certain point. Correct me if I'm wrong, so that's your area. But everybody is not going to watch it on HD.
Yeah.
We'll be beaming on HD, but someone is watching it on 240p, 480p, 720p as however they get the network. So if someone is not getting proper network, then at least if there's a word that he misses, he can read. So that way you don't disconnect from the story.
It's also followed a lot by the English film channels these days. So, if you look at television and you look at the English channels, a lot of English channels will have English subtitles running along. It just helps you focus more and be able to follow better.
And sir, I would like to ask you, you're not targeting the non-English speaking audience like the Hindi belt who would probably want subtitling in Hindi so they can figure out what he's saying, the interpretation.
So I think the minute you start translating it, then the meaning just becomes very different, and the way it's read and the way it's understood is very different. The purity of the storytelling is in the passion and the way in which Bhatt Sahab is narrating it. And I think we should maintain that purity rather than focus right now on translation. Let's see how it goes, and then we'll see how to move ahead.
Vikram sir, over here. Priyanka, the trend of web series is really coming up. So are you also planning to make one web series? As it's a very short this thing.
I am making one already,
Okay.
which is called Maya, but that's not the platform we are on today.
Hello.
यार बोल ही मत इसके बारे में. प्लीज हाथ जोड़ रहा हूँ मैं. आइडिया भी मत दे एकदम. We did not भाई किसको काट देना.
Hi, Vikram sir, Iqbal here. Yes, sir. Sir, you have wonderfully narrated the story and all. So there are only few shows, in media and all. So on web series as well. So did you, before working with this episode, did you went through all so that you can work far better than something like that? Do you have any plan to see some other shows so that you can also work in this Once Upon a Time with Vikram Bhatt?
समझा नहीं मैं.
Sir, I am just asking. So did you see any episodes before working with this kind of shows?
Any episodes like this?
Yes, sir.
I don't think there is anything like this. I'm quite unique, but if there is, then I wouldn't mind seeing competition.
But
Hello.
did you see any episodes like that, or did you any reality shows or any narrating shows so that you can work better than this show?
नहीं ऐसा कोई मिला नहीं मुझे शो. लेकिन अगर आपके पास हो तो प्लीज मुझे भेज दीजिए ताकि मैं उसकी भी बैंड बजा दूं.
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. This is for Vikram sir. Here, towards your right. आपके right की और. मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ कि आपने हमेशा कैमरा के पीछे काम किया है. तो ये आप तब कैमरा के सामने आप काम कर रहे हो तो कैसा लग रहा है आपको कैमरा के सामने काम करना?
देखिए ये काम तो मैं जिंदगी भर कर रहा था. कभी एक्टरों को सुनाता ऐसे, तो कभी जिसके पास पैसे है उसको सुनाता हूँ, अभी सुना पैसे लोगों के पास है तो अभी वहाँ चला गया हूँ, लेकिन काम तो वही कर रहा हूँ मैं, सिर्फ कैमरा लगा दिया मेरे सामने, लेकिन कहानी तो इतनी शिद्दत से ही आज तक कह रहा हूँ.
थैंक यू.
Yeah, Vikram, this, Vikram. Vikram, this particular episode, I think it's 20 minutes something?
20 minutes?
No.
I think it's just 10 minutes.
So it looks like 20 minutes.
That's
you
because
you get so engrossed in the story as such.
I wish you said it looks like 2 minutes. But
No, 20 minutes. The best part is that there is a definite message in this particular episode.
yeah, and this one there is, yeah.
Now, since this media, the platform which you have gotten, this Live, Sony Live, I think you can send across messages through most of your episodes, because there is a need as of today. Because here also there is a very definite message where people are not aware of the culture and this, that, and they are getting into some worse
Yeah.
kind of this.
Yeah.
So in your consecutive episodes, you can take a call on this.
See, I don't think anybody wants to be told what to do.
No, not like that. Indirectly when you
I know
shoot,
what you're trying to
the
say.
message reaches across.
I think the stories have a different kind of. Sometimes you tell a story where you nod and you say, "हाँ यार, ऐसा होता है." Sometimes the stories have a what if feeling. Okay, yaar, what if something like this were there? Like when you watch a film like Narnia, you go into a world and you say, "What if?" So I think stories answer a lot of needs. Sometimes there's a need for a message. Sometimes there's a need to create a world where you wish you were. And fortunately, all these stories that we have, which will be aired, have something or the other at the end of it that you take away. So that your question is very important from that point of view, that at the end of 10 minutes, do you take away something?
Correct.
Yes, you take away.
Yes.
You either take away a message or you either take away a what if feeling, and after you stop watching the story, you wonder what would have happened if the story were true.
Can you also talk about spaces that you have shot in? As in, is it only interiors or exteriors?
So no, this is a study of mine, and I tell all my stories from there. The point is to be and take you everywhere with the story. Because the minute I start taking myself and narrating in different places, it defeats the purpose. Because some stories are even in outer space. You get the meaning, right? So, the idea is to take you along with the story. Like, I think we went into Gangadhar's house with this story. Or you went into Sunaina's house with the refrigerator story. In your mind, you have to go to those places. That's storytelling.
And can you also talk about the target audience for this whole program?
That, I think,
So I think the
question for him.
target audience for a lot of this would be English-speaking urban audiences. At least we believe the medium, the mobile handheld users are a lot in the urban areas, and because these stories are told in English, I think a lot of urban audiences will like to hear some of these stories. As we progress, we'll see what to do, but I think we want to start off like this, keep it urban. Also essentially because a lot of mobile audiences and 3G and 4G audiences are in urban cities right now.
Reading. Reading is extremely important because it's an input-output thing, right? I think I read more than I write. I love to read, but see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That what does Once Upon a Time do? What does this story do? There are a lot of people out there who love stories but don't like to read. So this is a show that brings that story to you, and you don't have to sit with a book. You can just watch and imagine, and someone is telling you a story. And this is actually reading for somebody, but you don't have to go through the process, and that's what internet and the digital world has done for us. It has brought stories to us in different ways, and you don't have to sit with a book and read. There are different ways now. मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि कोई नोटिस करे मुझे और कोई सा भी छोटा मोटा सा ही रोल दे दे, और मैं सीरियस हूँ। कोई भी देखे मुझे और बोले यार इसको हमने काम नहीं दिया आज तक। मैं कह रहा हूँ आपसे, मैं वादा करता हूँ आपको, अगर आप किसी को जानते तो आप करवा दीजिए। हाँ बिल्कुल, मैं तगड़ा तैयार हूँ।
So you've always given chance to newcomers. In terms of performance, you are performing alone. But behind the camera, are you giving chance to new technicians?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. There's a whole team of new people out there who have done this. There is Anupam Saroj, who has directed. It's his first directorial debut. He has. He's the son of Santosh Saroj, who is a celebrated writer, who wrote Agnipat's dialogues also in screenplay. I was an assistant when I used to work with him. Now he was my assistant and now he's a director. There is Krishna, who's my daughter, who creatively handles the show. There is Isha, the writer, and of course Manu and Sugandha, who is there to eat my head 24/7. She's the business head, and Dharam. So all of them together are a whole new team, and it's their first venture.
So we can take on more questions one-on-one. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your questions, and we are open to one-on-one questions later if anybody wants to. We would also like to tell you, as the event comes to an end, we have 5 stories gone live as we speak. So that's truly something which we all have to look forward to. Also, the media can gather here for the.
बड़े पर्दे का वैसे भी फासला रहा नहीं है, लेकिन अगर आप इंसिस्ट करें तो ये वैसे भी अभिनय तो है नहीं।
और कितना डिफिकल्ट रहा आपके लिए ये अभिनय करना?
बिल्कुल ही नहीं, क्योंकि ये तो काम हम करते ही आ रहे हैं सालों से, हमारा काम ही है ये। हम प्रोड्यूसरों को कहानी सुनाते हैं, एक्टरों को कहानी सुनाते हैं, एक्साइट करते हैं पिक्चर के लिए। जैसे महेश भट्ट साहब जो मेरे गुरु हैं कहते थे कि हम हैं ही भांड बरासी हम लोग, तो हमारा काम है, हम इसको मंकी डांस कहते हैं कि जाओ भाई मंकी डांस करो किसी के सामने। तो ये तो हमारा पुराना शौक़ है कहानियाँ बोलने का। फ़र्क ये है कि इस बार कुछ सूट वूट पहन के कुछ ढंग से कुछ शूट किया है। नो Do I look? Then.
Sir, you ever wanted to be an actor, perhaps?
No, I never want to be an actor. I'll tell you why. Because when you're an actor, you depend on other people to come with you with scripts. You can't create your own. Unless you are like a Raj Kapoor who can do it, who's a producer director. कितने सारे ऐसे एक्टर हैं, अच्छे एक्टर हैं जो वेट करते हैं अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए कि कोई हमारे पास आएगा। तो मैंने कहा क्यों ना खुद ही अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट करूँ। देखिए मुझे ना कहानियाँ तो वैसे भी बहुत पसंद है। आप बिलीव नहीं करेंगे कि जैसे अगर मैं दिल्ली चला गया किसी काम से और मैं एयरपोर्ट से जा रहा हूँ तो मैं पूछ लेता हूँ ड्राइवर को कहाँ के हो, वो बताता है। फिर मैं पूछता हूँ दिल्ली कैसे आ गए, फिर वो गाड़ी चलाता है, कहानी सुनाता है, मैं कहानी सुनता हूँ और उसकी कहानी में खो जाता हूँ। हम लोग सब कहानी में ही जीते हैं। देखिए अब रूमर कहिए तो कहानी है, गॉसिप कहिए तो कहानी है, इंसिडेंट नरेट करें तो कहानी है, न्यूज़ देखें तो कहानी है। तो होता ही है, देखिए कुछ ना कुछ तो आपके साथ होता ही है, वरना आप ये इंसिडेंट क्रिएट कैसे कर सकते हैं।
और टारगेट ऑडियंस क्या होगी?
वही आइए सर।
सो टारगेट ऑडियंस इसकी ये बिकॉज हम सोनी लिव मोबाइल पे है, इट्स एन ऐप ऑन द मोबाइल, सो लॉट ऑफ टारगेट ऑडियंस विल बी पीपल जो मोबाइल पे हैं, जो मोबाइल पे इसको देख सकते हैं। हम चाहते हैं कि ये बहुत लोग देखें। फिल्म के में आपको टिकट देनी पड़ती है, खर्चा होता है। यहाँ पे आपको फ्री आप सोनी लिव का ऐप डाउनलोड कीजिए और ये इसका मज़ा लीजिए। सो द आइडिया इज़ टू रीच आउट टू अ लार्ज ऑडियंस, बट बिकॉज मोबाइल ऑडियंस है, 3G 4G चाहिए होगा, तो ये अर्बन सिटी ऑडियंस will be a bigger part of it, but obviously the reach will go to smaller cities also.
In quite a few countries, you actually have to pay for the content, even online. So, do you think that is the way forward for Sony Live and also for generally digital content in India?
Not for the time being, okay. But maybe at some point in time, movies are paid.
on Sony Live, but this kind of a content we want it to reach maximum number of people. So जितने लोगों को ज़्यादा मिलेगा उतना हमारे लिए अच्छा है, and हम चाहते हैं कि advertisers and advertising से इसका खर्चा निकले, and therefore we are trying to reach out to the maximum number of people.
Any plans to launch in regional language?
Not in the near future. Our first plan is to launch it in English. एक बार English में हो जाए, feedback देखेंगे, response देखेंगे, then there is lots to do.
बहुत शूटिंग करनी पड़ेगी मुझे.
Average length of all stories or
10 to 12. Yeah. 10 I would say is an average. Okay, thank you.
देखिए पहले तो when he is directing तो मैं स्टूडेंट हूँ, वो चिल्लाते हैं, मैं सुनती हूँ, मतलब there is no differentiation on set, तो that is there. But now on Once Upon a Time वो एक्टिंग कर रहे हैं और मैं डायरेक्शन के साइड पे हूँ, तो मैं उनको बोलती हूँ कि ऐसा रॉन्ग है, ऐसे मत बैठो, ऐसे करो, ये कॉस्ट्यूम पहनना है. तो इफ़ यू नोटिस माई डैड हमेशा जीन्स और शर्ट में होते हैं, वो उनका ट्रेडमार्क है. तो इधर उन्होंने इतने सूट पहने कि एट द एंड ऑफ द डे व्हेन आई वाज पैक्ड अप आई थॉट आई फाइनली मेट माय डैड अगेन बिकॉज ही वाज सच एन एक्टर फॉर 12 hours. इट वाज एन कंप्लीट न्यू एक्सपीरियंस फॉर मी.
How did you go about the researches and all that? किस तरीके की अपनी बारीकी अपने पापा को बताएं, क्योंकि वो एक अच्छे नरेटर भी हैं, अच्छे डायरेक्टर भी हैं. क्या चीज़ थी वो जो आप उनको सिखा पाए?
उनके साथ एक्चुअली टाइम स्पेंड करके इट्स बिन व्हाट लाइक 6 years कि आई एम ऑफिशियली असिस्टिंग हिम. तो व्हेन ही डायरेक्ट्स आई नोटिस कि ही सेज दिस कि आँखों में ये दिखना चाहिए या पोस्चर में ये दिखना चाहिए कि यू नो ऐसे लुक देना चाहिए, कंटिन्यूटी ऐसी होनी चाहिए. सो व्हेन ही वाज एक्टिंग I got all that in my head with Anupam when he was directing. All that came to me. So I would go कि पापा आपका पोजीशन ये होना चाहिए, आप थोड़ा बेटर कर सकते हैं, थोड़ा ऐसा हो सकता है. It was good because he listened to me. He gave me that respect. So that was great.
कभी हम आपको पर्दे पे देख पाएंगे एक्टिंग करते हो? कभी नहीं.
I don't think so.
चलिए कोई ड्रीम प्रोजेक्ट जो आप कभी अपने लाइफ में बनाना चाहें, कोई फेवरेट फिल्म जो आपको बेहद पसंद रही है अपने पापा की या किसी और की?
मुझे सब फिल्में पसंद है, लेकिन एक ओरिजिनलिटी जो होती है मुझे वो फॉलो करनी है. सो आई वॉन्ट टू बी अ रोमांटिक फिल्म मेकर. आई कांट डू हॉरर, मेरे टाइप की नहीं है, मुझे डर लगता है हॉरर फिल्म से. सो मैं एक बड़ी अच्छी रोमांटिक फिल्म बनाना चाहती हूँ, लेकिन बड़ी के बाद में होनी चाहिए, अच्छी पहली होनी चाहिए, सबको ऐसे टच करे. मैं सबको रुलाना चाहती हूँ. थैंक